Hey guys, this is Sara Partee, and I am doing my facilitation for the article on Ford's equity formula. And I just chose this one simply because I am a math teacher, so it kind of stood out to me just because it was a very concrete mathematical view on specifically what our populations should look like in our gifted programs, based on what the population of the district looks like overall. So the basics are this is a mathematical formula to determine the goal population of minorities, and really really any group within the gifted program, but it's really to kind of set a goal and a minimum a minimum number of students in the gifted programs, so that you're looking at something that is quote unquote equal. And it represents a minimum base of the overall population. So I, with my students, find it easiest to write out step-by-step things when I'm dealing with the formula, so that's what I've done. So the first step is to go ahead and look at the overall population. So in the, it wasn't really an article, it was 2 slides from a PowerPoint, so I'm kind of building a PowerPoint on a PowerPoint, but whatever. It gave a district population, and I believe in that PowerPoint it was 10,000. So it gave a basic population of the district, and then it broke it down into percentages for different racial backgrounds. So the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out what population you're really looking at. So for us, we're going to look at the district population overall of students. And then you have to find the percentage of the minority that you're specifically looking at. So for the example in our online readings, it was Black students in a district that had a population of 10,000. In the example I'm going to do on the next slide, it's a little bit different. But once you have that percentage of whatever group you're looking at within the population, we're going to move on to step 2. And you are going to take 20% of step 1. So you are taking 20% of whatever percentage that you're looking at. Take your percentage, take your percentage, change to a decimal, and multiply by 0.2. Once you get that 20%, you're going to go on to step 3. And we're going to take whatever that percent was in number 1, your original percent, and we're going to subtract our answer from step 2 when we took 20% of it. This is going to be the equity goal as a percent. Okay, this is the percentage of students of that minority race that you should have in your program. And then just because we as a society don't really like percentages, we really like whole numbers and exacts and things like that, you're going to use that percentage and your overall district population to convert this into a whole number. So you know exactly how many students you are looking for within the district being in this gifted population. So I came up with another example on top of the one that Dr. Grantham provided. So you can see I have a nice chart here. So I've got the racial breakups. Sorry, racial is spelled wrong. That is my bad. Of students in a district, and we're going to base the district on 20,000 students. So you'll see that we have 45% of our students are going to be white, 25 Black, 20 Hispanic, and 10 Asian. Obviously, I know that there are many more racial backgrounds than this, but just for our purposes and to keep the example kind of simple, I'm just breaking it down into 4. So my first step, I want to look at, 1, what is my population? So a number, because I'm going to need that later. And then I'm going to be looking at the percentage of the racial background that I want to be looking at, the minority I want to look at. I have 20,000 students in my district. I need to keep that in mind because it's going to come into account later when I transfer back to an actual number. And I, specifically for our example, wanted to look at Hispanic students. So we're going to be working with this 20% of Hispanic students right here in the district. Now for step 2, I'm going to take this 20% and I'm going to take 20% of that 20%. Go ahead, use a calculator. You're good. Not worried about that. 20% of 20% is going to be 4%. So overall, 4%, we're looking at 4% of the students in the gifted program that we should be looking at being Hispanic. Step 3, we're going to take the original 20. We're going to subtract the 4% that we got for step 2. and that yields 16%. In a perfect world, our goal for our Hispanic students in our gifted programs would be 16% of the students. That's if we really want this to be representative. Okay, now these are just minimum goals. It's just in order to keep our programs equal as far as Ford is seeing it. Finally, we're going to go back. We've got that 20,000 students. We're going to take 16% of them, and that's going to tell us the number of Hispanic students that we should have in our gifted programs as a minimum, as a goal. And that should be about 3,200 students that we're looking at that identify as Hispanic sitting in the gifted programs for District A. So that's really going to be it. I'm going to have my discussion questions in a post right after this. So you guys go ahead and you can get to work. Thanks.